All right, everyone. Happy Friday. It's another edition of the E29 Journeys podcast, and I want to welcome our sponsors. Again, Chihuahua Cerveza. The Newport Tap Room is now open for business. They have everything you need for food, fine Mexican lagers, and a host of other drinks that you might like. If you get the chance to get down to the Newport area, stop in and try it out. Also 100% Media. They handle all of our videography. They handle our editing and distribution for us. So we want to thank them. And also, again, Adam Schwartz Real Estate for giving us the wonderful office and allowing us to use his facility when he's here. So if you're looking for anything in the housing market, anything in the way of housing, give Adam a call. Today I'm very fortunate again to have one of our local coaches down because things are a little slow right now for everybody. So I have Mr. Joe Villa here from Cal Poly Pomona. He is the assistant coach and co-recruiting coordinator. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me. I'm surprised you had me after Rudy, though.
Oh,
jeez, tough act to follow with that guy.
That awesome. That like I said, we try to schedule him and it kind of text back first, so he got that. But I'm sure everything that you have to tell us is going to be a little bit different. And what we start with, as we were talking a little bit outside, was everyone's journey to where they are right now in coaching or business or whoever we have that comes in. It's always different. And I think one of the things that I like to have about that is that every player that's watching this can see that you can get to wherever you want in baseball through totally different lanes. And your version is going to be different than Rudy's, than mine, than anybody else that we've had come in. So what I want to do, and on that note, is I want to start with you, just kind of letting everybody know how you ended up at Cal Poly. And again, you can go back as far as you want. Like I said, if you hit a home run in the sixth inning of your second year of Little League and you want to talk about
that.
No
home runs for me. No home runs for me.
If you threw a no-hitter. So, whatever you want to start with, and just kind of let us know how you transitioned from playing to coaching to how you got to Cal Poly.
No, I went to a small private school in Whittier, California. Whittier Christian High School. Played there 4 years, then got an opportunity to play at Cal Poly Pomona with Mike Ashman, who was the head coach before Randy Bit. And came in there, redshirted my first year. I was tiny. I think the biggest thing for me was he said you need to get in the weight room, get a little bigger. And that's one thing that I really emphasized on, and I did. Then played for 3 years, and during that time, I was still coaching at my high school, and like I told you earlier, I saw the impact the coaches were making on me, and I was like, I really want to do this. I like how they're impacting kids each and every way differently, and I said, I want to do that. So I didn't play my senior year of high school and ended up getting a high school head coaching job at Sunny Hills High School in Fullerton, and luckily they gave a 22-year-old young guy an opportunity, and I did that for 2 years. A lot of fun, but at the same time very hard. And like I told you, I tip my cap to those high school coaches because they deal with a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot that goes on. So did that. Then after my second year, the coaching staff and the players had a great year, did a good job, and I got a call from Cal Poly Pomona asking if I wanted to come and volunteer. And I thought that was my opportunity to get into the college game, which I ended up wanting to be, and I took it and did that for 2 years. Loved it. 2014, we went to a regional, got to see that, had a couple guys drafted. Then I took a year off, and because no money, obviously, and worked in a private sector with schooling with kids with severe disabilities, with brain injuries and with autism and stuff like that. And I love doing that stuff. That stuff's kind of important to me, having family that has autism, and seeing the impact you can make on them. And it just shows you the patience you got to have with people, and just dealing with people and come from different backgrounds and everything. So did that. Then I got another call that year if I wanted to be the assistant at Kelsey San Bernardino. So did that for 2 years with Dave Martinez and Brett Hambright, and that was another good experience for me, being in a bigger role with recruiting and full-time, which was something that I loved. Then after the second year, it wasn't what they wanted, I guess, and kind of got the need to find something else thing. And I remember I was at a recruiting event out in Poway High School, and Randy Benton called me again and said, hey, would you be interested in coming back? And I said, absolutely. Then it's been there ever since. And I think I love that place. I graduated from there. It's home for me. I know the ins and outs of it. I love the people there. And you always look into things like, hey, why are they successful? And you look inside the athletic department, the nuts and bolts of everything, and there's great people in there. I think it's a real family environment, and I think that's why we're so successful, is because the people that they bring in. And that's our biggest job, is bringing in good people, not just good players, but good people. So yeah, that's sort of my journey in a little nutshell.
So going back to that, it's actually different because you're one of the younger ones that I've had in here. So the trip to where you are has always been a little different because of, one, the age and how you jumped into coaching and what age. And it's different too, because some people are kind of not necessarily forced, but like you mentioned earlier, baseball makes that decision for you. And sometimes you go willingly, and sometimes you go fighting and kicking. So for you, when you had mentioned that you had worked with special needs kids, is that what your degree's in?
It's in sociology.
Okay.
So pretty much people.
So pretty much,
people.
Yeah. And I'm just talking to you, like I said, we haven't had a lot of conversations, and most people that know me know I do a ton of texting. Partly because I can hold 50 different conversations, and I'm always lucky that I'm not sending the wrong things to the wrong people. But I think that, and you can back me up on this if you agree, I think that's helped you with your coaching in general. Because you'd mentioned the patients, but there's also so many different variations with one person on a day-to-day basis.
Totally. I mean, I think the patience factor, but like we talked earlier, everyone learns differently. And I think our role as coaches, and I consider us big-time educators, I think, because we deal with those kids on a daily basis, and we're trying to educate them just not on baseball, but life. I think life's the biggest thing. And you can't coach every kid the same way. Every kid learns differently. And I think from 22 to where I'm at 32 now, is you think yelling's going to get your point across.
Sure.
And I've learned that now. It doesn't. You got to talk to them. A lot of kids, you have to pull some things out of them, then a lot of kids open up.
Sure.
And it's just knowing who your audience is.
Right.
And I think that's where it's me, like with art, when I was working at that school, is knowing when a behavior is going to happen.
Sure.
I could sense it. And I think it's helped me seeing kids when they're down and out, when they're not having a good day.
Yeah.
And it's asking them, hey, what's going on? And coach actually cares. Like, then you just talk. And I think that's the biggest thing, is letting them know that you're there. And like I told you earlier, is being vulnerable. They got to see you vulnerable. And if they see, because we're all people. We all have feelings. We're just not hard. We just don't coach.
Sure.
Coaching is what we do. It's not who we are.
Right.
I think Coach Ben says that all the time, and it's a good point. He makes a good point. But it's knowing everyone's different. You can't teach everyone the same thing. Everyone's going to learn different.
Yeah.
This guy might take constructive criticism. This guy might not.
Sure.
Might need to butter him up a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's all different.
Well, and that's interesting, because we're talking about generations. Like I said, you're the same age as my daughter, and I'm you're old enough to be my son, and so I'm coming from that generation where yelling was the only option.
Right. Me too. I grew up playing Little League.
Oh yeah.
It's
okay.
They yelled you did it.
Yeah.
You don't talk back, and nowadays it's kind of everyone has a voice now.
Sure.
And it's changed.
Well, and then fielding ground balls. It was just bags after bags off your chest, off your chin, and if you want to get better, put the glove up.
Are you tough?
Yeah, and then fortunately I found out there's a better way, because you use the glove and you don't have to do it that way. But now it's totally different, and I think for you, kind of being on that younger generation of coach, you, like you mentioned, everyone has a voice, because I think the kids now that you come across, I would call them kids, but for me they're farther along than that. But for you, when they get to that level, they're so much more informed, so much more knowledgeable. Let's just take baseball wise, because there's hours of video, there's all kinds of tutelage, ESPN, Baseball Network. You can find out pretty much how to YouTube anything.
Exactly.
So when you get the kids now, you have to take on a different role and an approach to just coaching in general.
Well, it's everyone has a hitting coach or a fielding coach and stuff like that, but we're not saying that's a bad thing. It's just communicate with us on what they're teaching you, so we could try and expand on that.
Sure.
And that's our biggest thing, is we're not going to say, this is how you hit, this is what you're going to do. If you don't do it, then you got to find another place. No, it's everyone has a coach.
Sure.
Everyone has their own personal trainer or stuff like that. We're just trying to expand that knowledge that he's giving you into something else that we could kind of build upon too.
Sure.
So.
And that's interesting because I remember going back to when I was actually coaching on the field. Fortunately, I think that was all pre-travel ball, pre-showcases, I had a few players that were just starting with trainers, and I would make suggestions, and I would politely tell them, okay, do it this way, but I'm going to be results oriented as a coach. If it's not working, then you're going to have a talk with someone, either me or them, because we're going to have to be successful.
Yeah.
And then as I moved out of it and I started doing the one-on-one instruction, a lot of my coaching friends are, you're just trying to take money from these guys. I'm like, no, I'm trying to make it easier. If I take 5 of your guys and I'm working with them to get better, you only have to worry about 15.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to worry about all of them because these guys are getting that tutoring, for lack of a better word. And then I also had the hard time where, I would get coaches that would send kids home with these slips of paper that they had to sign. You're not allowed to go to another coach during the season. You're not allowed to go to a hitting coach.
Yeah.
And then that era. And so now it's different because one of the things that I tried to do was get the contact information from the players and open that dialogue and present yourself as not a threat.
Right.
I'm not trying to move players from your school to another school. I'm in this for your player. Mm-hmm. If he performs for you and you get success out of it, enjoy it.
Awesome.
I'm not asking you for anything. I just, so now that dialogue has actually helped me become a better coach because I'm understanding that humbly, every player that comes in, they've got more knowledge at 10, 11, 12 than I ever did. And they've probably got more talent because they've been training and learning and all the things that we never had access to. Some of the kids that come through,
I'm like, oh man, I wish I had your size. I wish I had your power. It's crazy. The size of kids and the strength, because we didn't have like those strength and conditioning programs that everyone has now, and it's unreal the shape these guys come in and how strong they are. And I'm impressed.
Yeah.
It like you said, the social media, everyone knows how to do everything now.
Sure.
So we might be irrelevant at some point because they could just look at a screen and hey, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're in the people business.
Yeah. Well, and there's still the interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Because like you said, everyone learns different. Mm-hmm. And so sure, there's a group of players that can watch it on video and go, okay, I got it, and then go translate it. And then there's those others that have to have it broken down. And so guys that communicate like you, just our short conversation, very articulate, very enjoyable to talk to, very personable. I could see where you're going to reach a lot of players just because your ability to communicate with them and get them to see things from a different point of view.
I think that's the biggest thing is not seeing their baseball progression build, it's just seeing their worth as a person, because we're, at the end of the day, everyone's saying we're building them for life, and which we are. But we have to build those avenues for them. Mm-hmm. And like I said, a lot of kids don't ask. And if you don't ask, the answer is always going to be no.
Sure.
So we're trying to guide them in the right direction and stuff like that. And our athletic department's doing a good job with the success committee that they're building. And I'm lucky to be a part of that and help these student athletes get into a position where they want to be.
So we talked about that earlier. You want to go into a little detail about that success?
So it's a student athlete success committee. Mm-hmm. And it's all the coaches. Then they broke it down into a subcommittee where it's about 4 or 6 coaches on staff. And we build kind of a program. And if you look at like the Division I schools, they have programs, but those things are fully funded. They have their own separate, director of the committee and stuff like that. So we're trying to expand it where we focus on 3 things. Or mentorship, life skills, and just what's going on in the world today. Mm-hmm. How can they help?
Sure.
And one of the biggest things we talked about in our meeting yesterday was a lot of our kids don't know what debt is. Mm-hmm. And don't know what having a credit card. They just keep swiping, sure. And mom and dad are going to pay for it.
Right.
But can we bring in someone in the financial business to come and say, hey, this is how you manage your money. When you get old enough, you're going to have to start paying bills.
Yeah.
And you do stuff like this because we tell our guys right now is, you show up late to practice, you have to run. You come into the workforce, you show up late, what happens?
Right.
You get fired.
Right.
It's so we're trying to set them up for that and kind of build those life skills. Okay, this is how you dress for an interview. Mm-hmm. This is how you do this. Maybe try this. Oh, what do you want to do? Can we progress you and find an avenue for that? Mm-hmm. So it's just building the person all around. So when they do graduate and finish the sport they're playing, they're ready. Mm-hmm. Instead of being like, I I don't know what I want to do yet. Like we talked about one of our players,
Yeah.
he doesn't know what he wants to do yet, and that's fine.
Sure.
No one's asking you to rush into.
Sure.
But I think when you do have a knack and know what you want to do, you're going to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
And like everyone says, oh, I work hard at work. I truly believe everyone works hard, but how hard are you working for that goal that you want?
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's interesting talking to you because I thinking about my daughter and my son-in-law. You're one of those millennials.
I am.
And so,
I am.
But think about it though. It's funny how things have kind of evolved back full circle again. You know, you wouldn't think that a higher education facility like Cal Poly would have to be teaching things that most people think, well, that's common sense.
Oh.
But you miss that somewhere, and you have to be taught that. Or, you know, just kind of a rough discussion about things that are going on right now with the COVID. You know, those are a lot of the things that we should have been doing. Cleanliness.
Oh, yeah.
Personal space, washing our hands, don't touch your face. You know.
Well, us, like me being a coach, and we're around kids all day.
Yeah.
So you're expected to get sick.
Yeah.
So it just happens, and you don't think about, hey, wash your hands.
Sure.
Hey, you sneeze, wash your hands.
Yeah.
You don't think, you just sneeze and kind of rub it off your shirt or something. So.
Yeah. Well, and it's easy when they're telling you to now when it's being described that, you know, cover your mouth with the mask, and if you sneeze into your arm. I'm thinking, well, I remember being taught that, not the mask part, but cover your mouth, wash your hands, you know, and now it's not even being taught. And so talking about education, you're kind of wondering maybe we need to take a step back and not trying to fast forward kids through things, but make sure they understand the basics first.
Well,
and then we can.
I look at it now, it's like, man, how important are teachers?
Yeah.
They're with your child all day, and I think they should be paid the most, in my opinion, because they're teaching them life skills. They're teaching them all that. And now they have to go back. Schools are probably going to open for elementary and high school in the fall, and they got to go back knowing that this virus is still around and put their life on the line out there for everyone's child. So,
well, and interestingly enough, not even at the elementary level. You've coached at the high school level.
Oh, yeah.
How often do they listen to you 100% of the time?
Everyone at the high school level knows, because everyone played baseball.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's about educating, whether it's baseball or not. It's just educating them for life, because there's more things than just baseball.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, talking to our guys and seeing what they're doing, seeing them smile is probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And seeing them succeed, and, you know, those guys that do get the opportunity to get drafted, oh, that's awesome.
Sure.
You know, seeing all the work they put in because that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And seeing all the work they put in and it finally come to fruition is so awesome to see.
Yeah. And then as a coach, you're a part of that, and so you share a small part of that with them.
Yeah, that's all them. They're like, I tell our guys, I'm never going to get mad at you for missing a ground ball, because I know you're not trying to miss the ground ball.
Sure.
It's just how the game rolls sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, but how can we put them in the best position is what we're trying to do, because at the end of the day, they're the ones playing the game.
Yeah.
You know, we just have a jersey on with them, but sitting in the dugout.
Well, and you're there to share experiences
yeah.
too, and to kind of a lot of times manage emotions.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
even at the college level
and
too.
even we get emotion.
Yeah.
We get emotional if a pitch doesn't go right, or, you know, an at bat doesn't go the way we get emotional. And I think it's good for them to see that we get emotional, that we care, because sometimes people notice that you care is when you show emotion, and it's good to see, and they know that we're all in it for the same goal. But yeah, it's baseball. You know, like I said, it's, you know, with the whole virus going down and having all this downtime, it's been good for me. You know, just having a daughter, and now instead of coaching those 30 plus guys, now I have a daughter who I could, you know, raise up and want her to be as much as she wants to be honest. You know, whatever her goals are, I'm going to support. And with all the 30 plus guys, I support all their goals.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now that we're onto that, I can offer you congratulations.
Oh,
and
thank you.
You can have the video for later, and you can show her if you want to say hi to her and your wife. You can keep that.
I'll be gray and bald by then, by the time I show her.
Oh man, that'll happen soon enough. But you know, the thing too, Rudy and I were talking about that with the kids, and it's going to be interesting for you, because a lot of the things that you try to instill right now, you're in the older brother stage with your players.
Oh yeah.
Eventually you're going to be in that dad stage with them. And so, you know, you're going to have to instill a lot of the things that you're doing right now with your players in your daughter.
Yeah.
And that's going to be different, because having a daughter myself, she was around our team a lot, and she noticed that real fast that I treated them the same way I treated her, or the same expectations I had. And I think it gave her a level of fairness and an understanding that, hey, he cares about them and he cares about me, and it's
Right.
just different at some point. But
yeah.
he wants them to do things the right way and the best for them the same way. And so it'll be neat for you as a coach. It's part of that evolution.
It is. And I think me being young, 32, I do listen to the same music our guys do. I do things some of our guys do. And so that's where we kind of relate and be like, okay, he knows kind of what he's talking about. Some guys might be like, hey, he doesn't know. But it's just, if you could reach that one kid, that's the goal. Yeah. If there's 30 plus guys, if you could get to one, that's a plus in my book.
Well, the longer you stay in it, eventually you'll be the old guy. He's just crazy. He's
I know, because sometimes the way I always looked at it is the assistant coach are the buffer for the head coach. Yeah. They could always go to the assistant coach and talk, because they don't want to go to the head coach because they don't want to know the answer. Yeah. Sometimes the answer might be harsh, but it's the truth. Sometimes what they need to hear. Yeah.
You're the guy that has to have all the sugar-coated ways to explain something.
I try to get away from that and just be honest. Black and white. Black and white's the way to learn. So, and I always tell them, impressions are the biggest thing in life. You could meet one person one day and he could get a good impression off you or a bad impression. And if it's that good impression, he might be calling you a couple of years down the road. Hey, I met you this one time. I thought you'd fit for this job. I like the way you talked. Presenting yourself and stuff like that. And that's why I always tell our guys, someone's always watching. Yeah. So someone's always watching. You're a representation of yourself, but your family as well. You want to represent them in the right way.
Well, and you'd mentioned social media, and now that's more literal than ever now.
Oh man!
Because you can't make a move anymore without being.
I think you're always going to get judged no matter what. Yeah. But it's know what you're doing. Yeah. Know what you're doing, because. Like, now I have a kid. If I post something bad and she finds out later, she'll be like, Dad, you told me not to do this, but you did it. Yeah. It's like, so it's just knowing. It's being like the same thing, being educated. Yeah. Make an educated guess. If it's going to benefit you or your family. If it's not, then probably shouldn't do it. So.
Now, just going back a little bit, how many games were you guys into the season when everything stopped?
I want to say 24. It feels so long ago.
Yeah, it does.
It feels so long ago, but 24. We just finished the series with going to San Francisco State, and we split. And we were in a good spot, and we had a conversation after that game in the outfield, and I thought from there that was going to be our turning point where we just turned it on. And we had Sonoma State the following weekend, then we're there Thursday, and they said, hey, series is canceled. We're like, okay, we'll come back next week. Yeah. And, hey, season's canceled. Huh. And that was tough because there was no answers. Yeah. And it's hard when our players ask, our parents ask, like, hey, and you don't have answers. You can't give them any direction. Sure. It's just, hey, look at the news and see what's going on. But it was all for, our student athletes' health. And it's sad to see that go. And what could have been, you never know. Yeah. But like I said, this time has given me a lot of time with my daughter and, time that I can't get back. Sure. And I probably won't ever get this time off again. So it's been good. It's been good for me.
Yeah, it's different in talking to different coaches. You kind of wonder, is this going to be one of those where were you when dates, or is it something we're just going to kind of think about, learn from, and move past? Because, like you said, it feels like it was almost a year ago. Oh yeah, and time wise, it's only been.
We're not even in summer yet.
And it's one of those where you kind of look at we talk about the generation being so impatient and they want everything now. Well, that's probably why this feels like a year for us, because. And realistically, your season might have been over, or you might still be playing, but you're already at the end of that. So now that you're home, and a lot of people got to spend time with their families, and then you got to be home for the birth and all that stuff. There's always those little rays of sunshine and everything. So, we talked a little bit too about now, kind of with everything being down and your gears having to switch from focusing on games and focusing on recruiting before you go to the games, things like that. Been watching your share of videos, I'm assuming. Yeah. Contact, phone, text with your recruits.
Yeah, it's like I said, most of our recruiting was done. We might have one or two spots to fill, but it's just contacting the guys, seeing where they're at. With us being a Division II program, a lot of kids want to play D1. Sure. So we're kind of pushed to the side a little bit, and hey, if I don't get that offer, then I'll give you a call. Yeah. But it's just keeping in contact, and it's just communicating how things are going, how's their family, are you staying healthy, stuff like that. But and the big thing with me is reconnect, because when I'm in season, it's hard to hang out with my friends and do all that, because we're on the go 24/7. And now it's giving me time to see my friends, talk to them, and seeing how they're doing. Some lost jobs, and some got jobs again. So it's good to see, but it's also having your baseball community friends too is a huge part. Because it's not all baseball.
Sure.
And for me, it's not all baseball.
Yeah.
I love having an outside life. I love talking to my friends. My baseball guys are the same way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we like to hang out and do stuff like that. And we're not, I think sometimes people think of us, oh, they're just baseball 24/7.
Right.
Oh, I don't like to talk baseball 24/7. I
Right.
really do not. I like watching college football and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
And like I talked about, like I wear just regular clothes. I'm not the go out and recruit in a polo
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, because when someone sees that polo, they're just eyes on you.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, there's a coach right there. I just kind of like blended in a little bit and doing my own thing. But it's good having the support cast of just your baseball friends and, hey, how are things going? Hey, how's your family doing? Stuff like that. I have a good group in a text message, you know, with some good guys like Eric Foll, Cody Yates, and Jensen Torres. Jensen Torres is my best friend.
Yeah.
And to be able to work with that guy every day is awesome. And I know he's going to make a great head coach one of these days when he gets his opportunity, and total players coach, guy you want to run through a brick wall for. And those guys being in my corner, I can't thank them enough. It's awesome, because I wouldn't be where I'm at without those guys. There's a lot of people to thank.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting how much we realize now how disconnected we were.
Oh, yeah.
And then how much the season actually takes out of you. I remember, I don't know if you know Nick Theodoro. We talked about him with Rudy, but Nick played with the Dodgers organization. He played at UCLA, and he was on the show earlier. And I remember when he and I used to be in contact, because he'd come back. I was coaching at Eisenhower, and he'd come back and work out with us there, and kind of we'd start a friendship. And so first year he was released, he's actually home in the summer. And I remember him calling me and going, hey, I don't know what to do. What are you talking about? He goes, I used to have the season, and now I'm getting invited to these weddings, and I have to go because I don't have an excuse. Or never been home
Right?
for 4th of July, never been home for Father's Day,
Right.
never been. And you don't realize that as playing, that you miss so much of it, and it's just part of your routine.
Exactly.
And now you're home, and like you said, when would you even have time to spend on the phone with friends just to sit and chat without
it's
hey,
it's
I gotta
totally
run.
different seeing a text message from seeing in person.
Yeah.
It's a way better feeling, and just the pace of life slowing down a little bit more, which was great, because being on the go, getting back from a road trip, waking up the next morning to go in and put our scouting report in for the next week, it's always on the go, and being able to slow down life a little bit was really good.
Yeah.
And it's still slow, which I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I think sometimes it gives everyone a good long break that they wouldn't have been able to put themselves into. It's like that forced timeout.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's what we needed to kind of reevaluate what's important and what's not important.
Mm-hmm.
And, being able to spend time with family has been huge for me. And it's been good. Like I said, a blessing in disguise for me, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We, when I was talking to you earlier, I just said that a lot of times you go online now, and there's so many coaches doing how-to videos, hitting, fielding, pitching, whatever. And so I just kind of stumbled into this, and then I thought, well, everyone's doing those videos, and everybody has a drill that they took from someone and tweaked and modified. And, I use a PVC pipe instead of a broomstick, and
different name. They created their own name for it.
Yeah, and it's just another tool for teaching. But, I wanted to do something where all these coaches that were, in these positions were more accessible. Because like I said, your coach is your job. It's not who you are.
Right.
Your personality comes through in your coaching because you're trying to connect with people, but it's a different way. And so I wanted something where coaches that I knew, or coaches that I have friendships with and texting and things like that, can be visual and be approachable to a lot of these high school players. Because ultimately, like you mentioned, your job is to help them.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that I've had in, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, I said, but if any high school player or just a player in general were to reach out to you, I have no doubt that you would spend time talking to them, showing them, even if they had no intentions of coming to Cal Poly.
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is we're in the texting world now, and everyone wants to text, but you can't get emotion off of text.
Yeah.
You might think someone's mad at you, but when you have an interaction on the phone and talk, I think that's the best form of communication for me, and even in person. Like I always tell coaches, hey, can you give him a call? Or hey, can he call you? Yeah, have him call me.
Yeah. Because
then you see if a kid could carry a conversation on a little bit.
Yeah.
And how educated they are, and can they carry a conversation, which is huge for me.
Yeah.
If a lot of kids nowadays, it's like, yes, text, no, text. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So and social media plays a part in that too, and everyone's always on their phone, and I think taking time and just to understand who they are. Mm-hmm. It's not, hey, yeah, you're a really good baseball player, but who are you? What do you like doing? You got a girlfriend? What do your parents do? It's finding other stuff about that.
Yeah. And I think that's lost sometimes because kids don't understand that 4 years or 2 years, wherever you start your college, you're actually trying to find out who you are and who you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because as you had mentioned earlier, even a great career, you might be done at 32 at your age, you know, and then what do I do?
Then what do you, that's the one thing where I said education is the biggest thing. Get your degree. Baseball doesn't last forever. Your degree does.
Yeah.
And if you find out what you want to do earlier than later, you're going to be better off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might not figure out what you want to do till you're 30.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay, as long as you find the bright spot that what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, even being in the education side, that's something that I've had conversations with other teachers and things that I come across is that with right now the way things are, and you being a little bit younger, you can talk about this with kids even in high school, the jobs that they're going to have probably don't even exist right now.
Oh, yeah.
So to not know what you're going to do right now is a lot different than not knowing 30 years ago. And talking to some older coaches, I've told them I kind of felt like coming out of high school, you had 5 options. And if you didn't fit in one of those, too bad.
Too bad.
Pick one, like it, 50 years, retire, and go on. And so it was really hard to go outside of one of those, to where now you look at so many different things. And so for a player or a person in high school to not know what they're going to school for is almost okay.
Yeah, it's
because
fine.
you need to figure it out.
We have some kids undeclared, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Some kids don't find themselves until they're a junior in college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some kids are just floating by a little bit and don't have any goals really what they want to do. Then it might be one class they take where it literally just hits and be like, oh man, I want to be in this profession. So that's where it comes down to educating our guys, and you know, and the big thing is communicating every day. You have to see how they're doing and stuff like that, because mental health is huge nowadays.
Sure.
I truly believe mental health is an issue that we all need to talk with our players about. It's okay to be vulnerable and ask someone for help. You have to, because when you feel like you're alone, that's the worst. When you have a community behind you, and I think that's the biggest thing with sports, and not having sports right now is tough, because when you have that team aspect, you know everyone's behind you. You know everyone has your back. So
with that being said, let me ask you, I'm sure you guys are doing the Zoom meetings with your guys. How have some of them been handling the downtime?
We do Zoom meetings every week, and some kids, our hair is out of control. Beards are going everywhere. And you could tell they're just in their room with lights off. Yeah. And some guys are still working out and stuff like that. For us, we can't tell them to work out. Right. But just to see, and I tell them, I said, you guys, if you could get out, get outside. You know, do a little, you know, something in the community, or do something with your parents. But don't be locked up in your room. Sure. I mean, because you just bottle up emotions in there. Yeah. There's nothing to do in there. Call some friends. You call some people you haven't talked to in a while, but you have to get out. Yeah. I think the biggest thing is us, you know, opening that avenue of communicating through the Zoom is huge, because they know, hey, they're still here. Yeah. You know, hey, they're still here. Hey, we can still talk. And you see some guys working still, and some guys are in summer school now, which is good, getting ahead on some classes. So, but it's everyone's different. You see, on one screen, this guy is still in bed. You see this guy making breakfast. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting now, because again, your role as a coach, and maybe even just temporarily because of the situation, and you know, you being 32, me being 52, 53, I forget, but nobody really has an answer. No. And so especially when you're in that 18, 19, 20 year range, it's really unsettling, because you've always had coaches, parents, grandparents, mentors to look up, and even if you didn't like the answer, they had an answer. And universally right now, for a lot of things, I don't know is kind of the general consensus.
That's what it has been. And we had a staff meeting today, and it was, well, hey, what's going to happen? And you know, I don't know. We haven't heard anything yet, and I get it. A lot of people want to have answers for the recruits and their parents, but we don't really have answers right now. It's an unprecedented time of what's going on. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is what they're looking out for is the safety of the student, because there's so many. We have almost 30,000 students at our school. Yeah, and to have them all in one spot, it might not be the best thing right now. Sure, but is there going to see an influx of it going on during flu season? Absolutely. So. It's hopefully we could get back to doing what we love to do, and seeing everyone in person and stuff like that. But it's been tough seeing them kind of, because sometimes baseball's all they have, and to see that taken away from them. But it also makes you realize, hey, I got to work hard every day now because it could be taken away just like that.
Right.
And we always talk about that. You know, you never know when it's going to be your last day, and something showed up for some seniors that are not coming back.
Yeah. Well, from you being a sociology guy, it's got to be kind of interesting to see as you have these Zoom meetings how everyone's handling it different.
Gosh.
And then again, you know, some of your guys that may have been on the lower motivation scale, how are now that they've tangibly had it taken away from them.
It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I get a year back because some guys aren't.
Yeah.
It's when something's taken away from you that you say you love, you'll realize if you really love it, I think. So
yeah, which is interesting too, because a lot of people that were out of those jobs, it might be an opportunity for them to go, well, maybe I need to reevaluate my skills and find another job. Or for your players, you know, maybe the season hadn't started out. Hey, we've got 22 games in and I haven't seen an inning.
Yeah.
So what is it? Maybe what coach told me I need to work on, I need to be working on.
And even like if they got an inning or two, I think those are valuable because they saw the speed of the game, you know, just the intensity of it. And it's still the same game, just at a higher level.
Yeah.
We had some freshmen to get their feet wet, which is good. We pride ourselves in playing freshmen, and we think they're good enough to play, and they showed it. So it was good to see this year.
Yeah, a lot of the high school guys that we work at, the motivating terms that I've been using with them is you had a snapshot of your – was that picture what you wanted? Were you happy with the results up to that point? If the answer is no, then how is it going to look going back? Because you've had an opportunity to change it. And it's easy to say, well, we weren't supposed to go out. We weren't supposed to do that. I said, but, you know, if someone can be locked up in prison and come out with a degree, I'm pretty sure you can be locked in your room and find something. That too, or find something productive. So, you know, this is really going to show the makeup of a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
You know, are you a fighter? Are you an excuse maker? Are you a quitter? Are you, you know, how are you going to handle it? Because this was adversity for everybody. This wasn't just a you problem.
No.
This wasn't just a Riverside problem. This was everybody's problem. So let's see that character shine through now of everybody.
That was the biggest thing. And what I always ask her is, do you love baseball? Because if you do, then you're going to do everything you can. Because when you love something, you're going to fight for it, do whatever you can for it. And you see it kind of when they come in like, oh, do I kind of reevaluate? Hey, do I really? This is it's just so time consuming. It's a different aspect from high school. Yeah. And when you're doing the same thing every day for 6 days a week, and kind of looking back like, whoa, where did my fall go? You know? It's kind of like Coach Ben always says, every day is an opportunity. Every day is a opportunity to present yourself on who you are, and it really is. It really is. And when you have something taken away during the season, it was kind of a shell shock. Okay, like I'm coming back harder than ever, or maybe do I still want to play, or stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I wonder about that, especially at your level, you know, because you have a lot of players that maybe do have a direction that they want to go, and they know that as soon as my 4 years of education is up, I know baseball's not in my future beyond that. So maybe I could move that along if I didn't have that time of baseball consuming.
And speaking of that, we have one of those guys right now. And towards when we have our end of the fall meetings, he came in and was like, I know I'm not going to play professional baseball, so I'm going to take more classes because I want to graduate in 4 years, and I know I redshirted and hoping I could get some money for my master's. I was like, this guy already has it figured out. He's like, I want to teach, I want to do this, and so he's taking 2 summer school classes right now, and he knows. And those are the kids man. When I was that age, geez, you know.
Well, yeah, you don't worry about him, but you have to look at him like that. Wow, they've got everything in line, and he knows, and he's already had that acceptance of baseball. There's no delusions of, you know.
Exactly. I think that's the one thing is looking at the mirror and be like, okay, is this what I can do or can't do? So.
Yeah, which is tough because, as I mentioned, talking to everybody, you know, some guys it was injuries that took them out. Some guys hung around and kind of did the checkerboard before they finally said, okay, this isn't going to work anymore. Some guys knew about halfway, hey, you know, maybe it's not a bad idea. Someone threw it at them. And then other guys were like, well, all right, it'll get me to the field every day. So I don't really enjoy it, but I'll learn to love it.
Yeah. But then you see like, man, how did that guy not get an opportunity to play?
Yeah.
That's the one thing that always baffles me. Like, how did that guy not get a chance to play pro ball? Just an opportunity. He'll take a plane ticket and pack of Cracker Jacks to play, and he didn't get an opportunity. So I feel bad for those guys because those guys were the ones banking on playing pro ball, and it didn't happen. They're like, okay, what do I do now? And that's where your education and your degree is super important. Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works, and you know, with this show, I've kind of really. evolved it into that message. Like I was telling you, it's kind of neat because every coach that we come in comes from a different level or a different part of the coaching chain, but yet all the message is the same. You know? And everybody's trip to get there is different. But that's a great way to show kids, look, just because you don't make it the first time doesn't mean you can't come back through the ranks.
Right.
If you decide that you aren't going to be an actual player all the way, you can still be a successful coach at a higher level and have an impact. And, you know, for you, you've already seen that if you want to have an impact in baseball, you're going to have far more years on the coaching end being an impactful person on the field than you will be as a player, because that window's so small.
It is. It's, you know, seeing people and, like you talk about, having impact is huge. They got to know they're there for you. Yeah. You know, they, like I keep saying, you got to be vulnerable and know that you care, because sometimes they just see you as coach. Guys call me Joe all the time. I don't care, because that's my name. Yeah. You know, I think we're all equal. Yeah. You know, I might just have a higher role than you. Yeah. But at the same time, we're all here for the same goal. Yeah. But the biggest thing is you got to surround yourself with good people. You know, when you surround yourself with good people, good things start happening to you. Yeah. And I think that's the one thing that I took to heart when one of my coaches told me, you know, surround yourself with good people, and you'll see things start kind of snowballing together in a good way for you. Yeah. And that's what I try to do as best as I can, you know, seeing who my real friends are and stuff like that, and surround yourself in the baseball community with good coaches. Yeah. You know, and I think I've done a good job with that. Yeah, I'm at a D2 level, but I love it. I love it. Everyone wants to get to the D1 level, but I love where I'm at. Yeah. I truly do.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, talking to high school players. And you had mentioned that a lot of them don't really understand how much work it is when they jump from high school there. The other thing I think a lot of them don't see right away is the responsibility. Yeah. Because, you know, at the high school level, and you've coached there, wins and losses are not a make or break for your job. No. It's how, a lot of times it's how you treat the kids. It's how you treat people. And so the repercussions for those losses aren't that much. But when you get up there, it is more of a group pull, because we're not necessarily judged by our wins and losses, but we're all trying to go the same way. So the accountability is a little bit higher for everyone, from your bullpen catcher all the way up to the head coach. You know, we're all in this together, it's literally.
Like, I think everyone uses the word culture, you know, the culture you have in your program, but I truly think the players dictate the culture. Sure. We could say one thing, but if they don't act on it, and they got to create it. Yeah. You know, if you get a group of guys that create in this and they all follow, that's the culture they create one year. You could have a different culture every year. Sure. You truly can. It all depends on the players you bring in and the makeup, what they want to do. Yeah. Because I think we're in a business with players and student athletes now is, how can it benefit me now? Well, they want to see results right away. And you got to see it through. Baseball's like this. Yeah. You're gonna see ups and downs, and downs. But how do you ride those ups and downs? Sure. You know, you're gonna stay level headed the whole time, and you'll see it.
Well, and it's interesting because you talked about the project that you guys were involved in, trying to educate on things outside of baseball. Yeah. But a baseball team is a snapshot of a business. Yeah, you know, Randy being the owner, you guys being the managers, and the employees. Hey, if employee one doesn't show up for work on time, someone else has to pick up that slack.
Exactly. Someone else picks it, and that's where good teammates come along. Yeah. And you might not like the role you're in now, but accept it and move on, and you might get that role. You never know when your name's going to be called. Yeah. And we always have a player or two every year or they don't see themselves playing, then what do you know? Someone gets hurt or something happens and they get thrown in. And usually if they're ready, they excel in it. Yeah. Then if they played the pity party and like, why am I not playing? And they get their opportunity and they struggle, it's like, hey. Yeah, the game knows.
Yeah, exactly.
The game truly knows, I think.
And now you prove that. And it's funny because kids will say that a lot. I don't get the opportunity. Well, you're at practice every day, right?
Right. Yep.
You're asked to do the same thing: grades, fundraising, be on time. You know, whatever the requirements are to be a part of that. Well, just like in a job, we all start at the same line, but some people just move a little more. Some people work a little harder.
It's crazy because. Yeah, everyone gets opportunity every day, but it's crazy to me to see there's players that practice bad, but when they get in the game, it's weird. Something just clicks, and they're just the ultimate gamer. But then you have those guys that really work hard in practice, and it shows in the game. So it's hard to be like, man, this guy stinks at practice, but this guy performs. Yeah, and like I said, every day is an opportunity. You show who you are every day. Sure. and you could have a good day, or you could keep rolling on bad days.
Yeah.
And it's just how, like we always say, you got to stay in the middle.
Yeah.
You got to stay in the middle because it's hard. And I think that's where our older guys help those younger guys. Hey, man, you can't get down on day one.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be hard,
Right.
but it's communicating with your team. And a lot of freshmen, when they come in, are scared to communicate.
Sure.
And we had one freshman come in who started game one as our catcher.
Mm-hmm.
And he could take over a room because he could communicate, and guys see that he cares.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not afraid to ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah.
Well, and I know this is different with every different school, but as far as early signs or early commits, how do you feel about that? Personal, it doesn't have to be as a program.
For us, or just all around?
For you guys,
like
and then for both,
freshmen,
all around. Yeah, for high school.
Oh, man.
Yeah. and it's fine because it's actually changed. Conversations I've had with guys 5 years ago before it became prevalent to now.
Yeah, it's like the early signs, the guys that are signed at D1s as freshmen and sophomores, that's hard for me to understand. I feel like they don't know who they are yet.
Sure.
Some might not even have hit puberty yet.
Sure.
And sometimes I feel they might be pressured to commit where it's like, hey, here's the offer. We need to know.
Mm-hmm.
We need to know within a week. So it's like, oh, okay, what if I don't get another offer?
Right.
So I have to take this one.
Sure.
So I think I would like for them to change the rules,
Mm-hmm.
maybe after junior year and stuff like that. But guys change year by year.
Sure.
We change as adults
Right.
every year.
Right.
So with us for early commits, I mean, we usually don't get a lot because a lot of guys want to try that D1 route.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see where the D1s are.
Sure.
So like I said, we're kind of put on the back burner a little bit. But we don't, for us, when it comes to offers, we don't give them timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Because if a guy wants to be there, he's going to be like, I want to be their coach.
Yeah.
So it's when you put a timeline on someone, I think that's when you start pressuring them.
Sure.
And giving them pressure at that early age is kind of like, I don't think they can handle it yet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a sticky one. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to be honest. If my daughter ends up playing sports and someone says, "Hey, we need to know as a freshman, we need to know within a week," I'd be like, "Sorry."
Yeah.
You need to grow up a little bit and know what you want to do.
Yeah, and I feel sometimes in talking to other coaches that I don't know that. I'm sure it's being explained to them, but I don't know that at 17, 18, 16, you really understand the responsibility that comes with it. You may only see that as the baseball side, but they're basically telling you at this point, we believe in your baseball. Mm-hmm. But that 2 years, we're expecting a different person.
Oh, yeah.
To
and if
hit
they
the campus.
If they don't see that.
Yeah. And I think at that age, you don't really grasp that. How do I get to that part? I understand the hard work, swinging every day, the baseball part of it, but that maturity and growth as a person, where do I get that?
That's the big thing. And like I said, surrounding yourself with good people.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you surround yourself with good people, good things happen. And it's just not all hitting. I think you have to have an outside life too.
Sure.
And it's huge. Some kids just play baseball, and it's like, well, hey, you want to go do this? Well, what's that?
Yeah.
I'm so used to just hitting 1,000 balls in the cage and 1,000 ground balls. Like, I don't know what outside is.
Yeah.
So it's all about. I think it's getting the all around encompassing person, not just the player, the person.
Yeah. Well, and even that too. I don't think a lot of players, when I hear them from certain organizations, oh, this coach tells me he can get me. Okay, realistically, he might open a door for you.
Yeah.
I said, but ultimately, you as a player, and then being at the high school level too, everybody has to go through admissions.
Yep.
And so I can't talk to that admissions person and say,
that's your resume.
Yeah, that's it. That's
resume.
exactly what it is. And I know coaches that, they've even asked me, hey, we appreciate it. Don't worry about sending me any more videos because I don't want to fall in love with guys that can't make it through the admissions.
You're spinning wheels at that point.
Yeah.
You want to talk to a guy, but at the same time, his grades, there's too much work.
Yeah.
Then, if you do get him in, then you're always constantly worrying about his grades when he's in.
Yeah.
If he's going to be eligible, if he's going to be ineligible.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't really want to worry about.
Well, and you've mentioned business a couple times too, and that's, it might be a harsh word for some players to understand, but that's what a university is.
Because there's money. Like the reason why I call it is because there's money involved.
Yeah.
There's scholarship money involved.
Yeah.
And there's things on our end we got to take care of, and there's things on your end that as a student athlete you got to take care of.
Yeah.
You got to be eligible.
Yeah.
You got to go to class on time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things you have to do, and if you don't live up to that bargain, say you go ineligible, your money's gone.
Yeah.
And you can't blame anyone else except yourself.
Yeah.
So,
or even just the interpretation of what a scholarship is.
Oh yeah.
It's financial, but it's an opportunity. We're giving you an opportunity not only to come play baseball for us, but because we're in essence, banking on you to graduate.
Exactly.
And to go on and represent our university in a positive light in the community.
Exactly. And that's, like I said, being a good person.
Yeah.
Sometimes guys come in the program and they act good. Then when they get around outside, they start doing these things. And that's where you have to make a tough decision. Be like, hey, it's just not working out.
Yeah.
We can't have that representation of our program.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's sad, but like I said, you're dealing with financial money. And so it technically is a business.
Yeah. And you mentioned when they have to go through their resume, when that resume goes into your admissions office, it doesn't go into a baseball pile, a football pile.
It goes to compliance, and the compliance sends it up, and then it's theirs.
And you're essentially competing with all other sports and all other students. And maybe that student wasn't an athlete, but he's president of this, he's involved in that,
right.
He's helping to do this. And so again, as a university, I have to weigh the two. And I've got to figure out which is going to be beneficial for us as a business.
Oh yeah, it's like when I work camps and stuff, I tell all those players and recruits, your golden ticket's your GPA, your academics. You might not be a Stanford player, but you might be a Stanford student,
right?
And that's huge.
Yeah.
So someone could say, hey, you might not get, but if you have those GPAs and all those credits done, you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
It might not be the baseball fit, but
sure.
At the end of the day, it's all about academics.
Yeah.
Student comes first before athlete.
Yeah.
And
that's a hard conversation. We talked earlier about the weddings and the kids and things like that. I mean, I've been fortunate to be invited to a lot of those, and I only coach for a short time. So talking and listening to you guys,
that's the impact you made, and it's just a short time.
Yeah, I feel like I did when I'm thinking I didn't do a very good job. But one of the hardest conversations I had with two young men was that Dad went to UCLA. They actually made our academic side look great because they were valedictorians back to back year, both boys. And, both parents went to UCLA, and I know that was a dream for them. And they both had some offers from schools. And one of the hardest things for me to tell them is, sometimes as a student and an athlete, they don't line up. But as a student, you guys have done so much more, and you guys have done so much for yourself academically that you deserve to go and get all of those accolades, because unfortunately you're going to be far better for society on that side than you are with a baseball player. And one's a doctor, one's a lawyer, so good thing
there you go.
Pushed them in the right direction.
There you go.
But for those two guys, that was hard for them to understand, but they were also smart enough to go, there was going to be an end to this road, but on this side, it was going to take me farther. And so that's hard for kids to understand at 17, to be that motivated, directed, and disciplined.
Because you don't want to give it up. And you don't want to see that dream gone. But there's other dreams. Yeah, there's other dreams you could go off.
Yeah, and sometimes trying to recreate or reinvent that dream is tough on the fly.
Because you're gonna grow up, you're gonna change a little bit year by year, and you're gonna see, I do like this. There might be people that work a job at 35. 4 years later, they might be like, I hate this job. I'm going to go do something else. Yeah. So you start finding yourself a little more as years progress. Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah. But, going through that education process with something to kind of balance it out, would actually be the word, For a lot of guys, baseball is their family. Like you mentioned, you're dealing with all different types of personalities, but you learn about that home life, and maybe my baseball family is my family. Maybe I don't have any brothers or cousins or sisters in the area, and my roommate is my family, or my coach is my uncle that I don't have. So
I think it's the sense of knowing they have a support group. You could see when guys are down. You could see when stuff at home's not going right. Yeah. And I think even just putting your hand on their shoulder. Hey, I'm here, man. Like I was telling our guys in our last Zoom meeting, we need to be slow to speak, quick to listen. Some kids just want to express their emotions and get it out. Hey, coach, can you I'll be an open ear. Yeah. I'll talk. Let me know. We have to be that support group for them. Yeah. Like I said, we just can't be coaches. We have to educate. We gotta be like a father figure to these guys. Some don't have dads. Yeah. So I think it's an awesome role to take. I think I enjoy it. I love creating a friendship with these guys and a relationship with all of them. Everyone's different. Absolutely. Every relationship's different. Sometimes we joke more than others, but it's having that relationship, because at the end of the day, people matter. Yeah. I think relationships matter.
Yeah. And it part of building them all together, because baseball, most of the time when you talk to former players or you talk to athletes, it's that camaraderie that they miss. I might remember a game here or there, a trip that we took, but it's that day to day in the dugout, in the locker room.
I don't miss the game at all. I miss being with the guys.
Sure.
Practice, road trips. Now it's all alumni games, and our alumni turnout's good.
Yeah.
It's good seeing all those guys come back, get some swings in and stuff like that. And that's the environment we're trying to have, is that family environment.
Yeah. Well, it comes from having that same goal and that same direction that you guys want to go in. Like I said, that's something that's another experience that kids need to look for.
And like I said, it's like a lot of kids look for success now, and that's where Jensen talked about it the other day. It's kids want to see, what are you doing now? How can you help me? So us, Cal Poly, what they've done the past years been successful. So kids want to see that. It's hard recruiting at a school that hasn't had much success and say, come here now, but kids want to see, well, what have you done? Like how can you get me? Have you got guys drafted?
Yeah.
So us having that background is huge for us when it comes to recruiting. It's a great spot to come and develop as a person. It's good baseball. It's competitive. But yeah, kids, everyone looks at, all these new drills and stuff like that, but they want to see the numbers.
Yeah.
Are the numbers matching up with what he's talking about?
Sure.
Is he that good of a coach? He's getting guys hitting 300 or having his fielders field 980 every year. So kids want to see the success that you're having.
Sure.
Is he really preaching what he's talking? Is he really doing what he's talking about?
Yeah.
So I think that's huge with kids nowadays. They want the reassurance that it's feasible. It could happen.
Sure. Well, and that comes from confidence, and then even talking about players picking their schools.
Oh yeah.
Everyone knows those top 10. That they're always on ESPN, or they're always on all these MLB polls and the different colleges. And one of the things I'll always ask players is, okay, well, why do you want to go to that school? Oh, well, they're top 5. Okay, well, why do they need you?
Yeah.
They're already in the top 5. You don't think there's 4 or 5 redshirt guys that think that they're going to be the guy to take them over? I go, how about this team down here that's 35 or 36? Well, they're 35 or 36. I go, maybe you're the guy to take them to 10.
Yeah, you never know.
And that comes with that confidence. Like you said, you can read that when you have conversations with players.
It's if they want to be in it or not.
Yeah.
You kind of have the guys that sit in between. We want guys with both feet in, not 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And it's seeing it. The guys that, there's guys that we recruit that other schools might not like, but we see something that they fit what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think it's just, to me, it's the personality.
Right.
It's him as a person. I could put the baseball stuff aside.
Sure.
But him as a person, he gets it.
Yeah.
He wants to be successful, which makes everyone else be successful.
Sure.
Everyone has that one goal, because everyone wants to hit 300. So they're all trying. Right. So if we all pull in that same direction, good things happen.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing we brought in a ton of freshmen this past year, and their mindset and stuff like that, they wanted it. And our older guys felt like, oh man, these guys are pushing. Yeah. These guys want it. So it was good to see them as people, just ultra developed more as a person, which was huge for us. And those are the guys we were able to talk to and joke around with, and they don't take life too serious.
Yeah.
It's
well, that word personality you just used, when I'll talk to players and we're in that process of trying to connect them with schools, and I'll explain to parents, usually the questions that I get asked from coaches like you isn't about baseball. I wouldn't be calling you if he couldn't play.
Exactly.
This guy's not really fast. He's got a weak arm. Every now and then he finds it. I'm not going to call you about that.
Right.
So the questions are always, what kind of person is he? What kind of student is he?
Yeah.
Because you can fill in the blanks with the baseball, physical stuff. That's what you
Exactly.
guys are there for.
Yeah.
But if he's not going to be a guy that wants to work, if he's not going to be a guy that wants to help us lead a team, I can't do anything for him.
And that comes from, the family. What type of family are they from and stuff like that. And that's huge when you get them all on a visit. And you can sit down in a room and chat. And sometimes, who do you think's talking more than the parents are, not the kid.
Yeah.
So and I think that's a kind of a red flag for us when someone else takes over the room than the player.
Yeah.
So.
And it's tough. I mean, you haven't got there yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's tough as a parent because you don't want them to say the wrong thing.
Exactly. And you want the best for him and stuff like that. But there's going to be one day where I have to let her go, and she's going to have to do her own thing and make her own decisions. But I think the biggest thing is the personality in them as a person.
Yeah.
Because we already like the baseball stuff.
Sure.
But can we get an agreement on the personal side?
Well, I mean, on the recruiting end and being in Southern California, all of the different games and showcases and things you go to, you probably see a ton of guys that you would love to coach at your school, but for outside reasons, like you said, academics, personality, commitments, things like that, it always changes.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, when you get the call, hey, coach, I'm going to this school and stuff like that. But after that conversation, I say, hey, man, congrats and wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah.
Because you never know. 2 years down the road, that kid might have had a good conversation with you where you felt comfortable with you. And he might call you, be like, hey, coach, it's not working out at this place. Do you have a spot for me?
Yeah.
It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
It's all about having those good relationships.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately, when we talked about the early commits and being a coach and being intimidating with a player, at 17, if you came up and said, hey, we'll give you $1,000 to come play at our school. Okay, great. Wait, 1,000? Is that good?
Yeah.
You don't know. And so they want to jump at the first one if it's a big name school, and having those conversations with your families and understanding if that's actually a good financial fit or it's something feasible for our situation.
And that's the one thing we have to look at too. Does it fit financially for the family?
Yeah.
Because sometimes family, we love it, but we just can't afford it.
Yeah.
So we have to go this way because, and we get it. We get it, but it's all about trying to make them comfortable.
Yeah.
Is it feasible for them, the amount of money we're given?
Yeah, because a lot of times it's flattering to get that offer.
Yeah,
and in high school, you just want to jump.
Yeah, you don't want to pull loans out.
Yeah.
Because you deal with them later on the road.
Yeah, and for them to understand that might not be the only offer that they get. Like you said, it's hard. So when they're in that situation, looking at different schools, do you ever find yourself having to maybe help players find another situation if maybe it's not a fit for you?
Like guys that will leave our program?
Right.
Yeah. They're always going to be a part of us. So it's all about helping the kid. You can't just dish a kid off once he's not coming. You got to help. You got to let them know they're there, and you don't mind calling another coach. Hey, I think you should take a look at him.
Yeah.
I think you should give him an opportunity. It just didn't work out here.
Yeah.
And that's some of the cases where it just doesn't work out, or it's a personal fit that he might not like the way we run the program, or he just wanted to be closer to home or something like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's where it comes to, we try to get the best players we think in our area, and keep them close to home.
Yeah.
So it's hard getting those guys that live away and stuff like that. They miss home.
Yeah.
I get it. I miss home too sometimes.
Yeah.
I miss my mom's cooking. So.
Well, you see that a lot more, I feel, with kids looking out of state a lot of times, or I feel like there's no real gray area there. I find kids that are really ready to jump at out-of-state options, or kids that absolutely refuse. I'm not going anywhere unless one of the schools in my area makes me an offer. And so sometimes the kids that'll go out of state, they come right back. Sometimes it's the weather that sends them back.
Sometimes I'm like, dang, how do you want to play out there? It's freezing out there.
Yeah.
So it's all about, everyone uses the word fit. It truly is. It got to work both ways. My big thing is, and I tell our guys, okay, if you come to our school and say you get hurt and your career's done, can you still see yourself graduating from our school?
Sure.
And if you can, I think it's the right fit.
Yeah. Because
academics are going to come first no matter what. But if you come to our place, get hurt, and you're like, I don't want to be here, then it wasn't the right fit from the get-go.
Right.
So it's got to hit all points.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Some of the stories you hear, some of the things you see, it's sad, but it's stuff like that happens. It happens, where they come and then they go to another program and they do well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, you also mentioned being mentally healthy.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with it. If you're as a human being, if you're not happy, you're just not going to succeed. And you could be in a great environment for you education wise and baseball wise, but mentally, if you're just not happy outside the campus, you don't like the weather, you don't like the area, you haven't connected with anyone.
It takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on I think everyone deals with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not to a full extent as more people do, but some of that stuff takes a toll on you if you keep just letting it bury you instead of just kind of communicating. I think that's where we have to come in as coaches and educators to be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's okay. We always have an open door policy.
Yeah.
We're always available.
Yeah.
Sometimes kids want to be, texted or called, hey, are you okay? Some kids are like, hey, can we talk? So that's where it's knowing your audience on who you can pull things out of and who you can't.
Yeah.
So, but mental health, man, every day's a different day.
Yeah.
And every day could be a struggle. Every day could be good or bad. It's
Yeah.
just how can we brighten their day up just a little bit, because it could be that little comment that you made to them that could turn it around for them.
Right.
And that's why we make a huge I think we can make a huge impact on kids.
Well, and now I'm really hoping that with at least the seniors and juniors, because it probably impacts them more, they've taken this time, because I've encouraged this with players, that now there's so much access to everything, be a phone, internet. You can really know everything you need to know about Pomona.
Yep.
I can learn what's where. I can learn the streets. I can learn everything that you guys have to offer there, where it is, what the weather. I mean, there's so much things that you can do to educate yourself, if for no other reason, just to check places off that aren't going to be a good fit for me. And there's so much opportunity for kids to get knowledge for themselves before they have a sit down with someone like you.
That's where it's like, a lot of these teachers love online school because you could teach online. You don't have to be in the classroom. But I think some kids learn better when they're in the classroom setting. And it's, we have virtual visits and stuff like that to do, but I think it's a different feel when you step on campus and kind of walk through it. And, I'm still learning stuff about the campus that I didn't know about, and I graduated there. So, but there's always stuff to learn. There's always stuff to learn. And I think the biggest thing with kids in the recruit is do your research. Just don't look at the records. Look everything else within the school. Is there stuff that you like? And sometimes kids like that school and they don't even have his major. So it's like, I want to go there, but they don't have it. So what are you going to do?
Right.
So you got to do your research on the whole thing.
Well, so speaking of the campus, I haven't been there in a couple of years, but since you've been there, maybe off and on as a student and back, it's grown quite a bit. As far as the field and your facility, is there things that you guys maybe have planned down the road, or some things that are in the process?
When I played, then my first 4 years, so I think it's 7 years at Cal Poly now, the field was an eyesore. And it was in the same spot, the same grass, same dirt. They just kept on adding dirt.
Right.
Then last summer, they finally revamped the whole facility. Whole new upgrade, all new dirt, all new grass, new netting system behind the backstop brick and concrete, all new fencing around the whole field. The scoreboard's there. We have lights now. And it's one of the top facilities in the West, I think, for a D2 program. And we could compete with some D1s. But yeah, they're building. They've seen the success, and people in the program, donors, and alumni have seen what Coach Ben has done, and Coach Torres have done, and want to put money in. And we always tell our guys, hey, these people are putting money into you guys to upgrade your facility for you guys to perform. They just not here. Go ahead, do whatever you want. No, they've seen the success. Keep building on that success. Keep being that pillar of success that you could build. The field we wouldn't take recruits on there because it was an eyesore, and now it's like, hey, come check out our field.
Sure.
Because everyone wants to see the stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone wants the stuff. Well, let me see your field. Oh, let me see your Rapsodo. Let me see your hit tracks and stuff like that. They want the stuff. Yeah. But now that we have the field, but it's all about the substance on the field. What product are you putting on the field? And those are the type of guys we're trying to bring in.
Yeah, so it's almost like an interview for you guys too.
Oh yeah, it truly is. There's some questions that they ask, and I'm like, oh wow, that's a good question. And sometimes we just walk around campus and talk, and the biggest thing is getting people on campus and just to see it. Yeah. Because when they think of Cal Poly, Cal Poly, but when you get it, you're like, whoa, they're constantly building more dorms and stuff like that. But it's a beautiful campus and a great place. Yeah.
There's a lot of area around there too. And you guys are right up the street from Mount Sac.
So Mount Sac's right over the hill. And like we always tell our players, it's a prime spot for scouts because they could come see us, say we play a 2:00 game, and boom, drive down the 57, go hit Cal State Fullerton for the nightcap. Right. Or go down the 91 to go see UCR. Yeah. So we're centralized in a good spot where scouts are going to come watch you play. Right. There's enough guys drafted out of our place to be like, hey, they got some good guys coming out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I hadn't been there in a while, but I know there was some upgrades, and I think you guys upgraded right before you had a regional. Was it a regional there?
Yes. Okay. Yes. Yeah, they did the lights, then the scoreboard, then just this past summer they did the whole field. So it's awesome. Great place to go to work every day.
How about as far as the academics? Have they added to that too? I know some of the buildings. I know they had a lot of area. I think the last time I was out there,
they built a new financial aid building and stuff like that. Engineering. So they're constantly building. There's so many students on campus. Yeah, and it's commuter school. I get it, but you could better get there early or you get there late because you ain't gonna find a parking spot.
Yeah.
So, but they're building more and more, upgrading. We just got a new. It's been there for about 6 years. A rec center and a rock climbing wall at the bottom, weights like on the second floor, track on the third floor, and basketball courts in the second floor. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
That's amazing. That's what I was talking about with Rudy. Just Southern California baseball in general. I mean, it's nice to see. I can't think of too many universities or colleges that in our area that haven't done some type of upgrades.
Try to keep up because everyone's moving.
Yeah,
everyone's moving. So.
But I mean, it's kind of cool because it's almost like a can't miss if you want to come play in the area. There's so many different opportunities: D2s, D1s, NAIA.
It's one of the most competitive conferences, I think. A team from our conference has gone to the World Series the past 8 years. So it's competitive. It's good baseball.
Yeah, I
know it doesn't have the one after the D, but it's good baseball.
Yeah,
something where you can keep extending your career a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that place.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so here comes a part of the program where you can do your public service announcement. So what I tell the coaches is if you had an opportunity to get a player at your facility, is there something that you would want to say to them about your program, something that you would want to tell them that you feel is a point of interest for them when they come out to the field, to just kind of talk to all the high school and middle school players out there about Cal Poly?
No, I think it's got to be the fit. Okay. You got to see, and once it's the fit, we can honestly say we could see ourselves getting to the World Series every year. And it's something that's feasible. And I think when you look at the numbers and stuff like that, it's there. And like I said, kids want to see that. They want to know, have you been there? Have you had success? Absolutely. So it's there. And I think want to come there, compete, have fun. And I think the biggest thing is having fun. At the end of the day, it's a kid's game. And if you don't have fun with it, you're just going to beat yourself up. And, it's the community. For me personally, it's your relationship with me matters more than just baseball. And that's what we're trying to build as young men. So that's it.
Good. Well, I appreciate your time. I told you about an hour. We're right about there. So
perfect.
Thanks for driving out,
Thank
man.
You.
Congratulations again on the new daughter. You're going to have fun with that. And looks like you might have a little bit more time at home to kind of enjoy that.
Perfect. I won't get this time back, that's for sure.
No, definitely. But it'd be a good chance for you to kind of learn the routine and see how things are from this side now. So welcome to the club.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Wait till the gray hair club comes in. But
I know. I'd rather get gray than lose my hair. That's for sure.
That's true. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank our guest again, Joe Villa from Cal Poly Pomona. Thanking our sponsors, Chihuahua Cerveza in Newport Beach, Adam Schwartz Real Estate, and 100% Media. So until we see you next Friday, thanks.